The world thought that constant suppression would crush a political movement. Nick Fuentes has proven the opposite. 2016, Donald Trump would win the presidential election through his America First rhetoric.
It's going to be only America first.
It would be this event which inspired Fuentes' entire platform. In 2017, Fuentes would begin his political career by hosting the first show of America First during his attendance at Brown University.
Hello, everybody. I am Nicholas J. Fuentes. You're watching The Nicholas J. Fuentes Show.
Within 2 years, Fuentes had attracted a significant cult following, a following which was large enough to begin challenging mainstream conservatives. This following, dubbed the Groypers, would engage in what is now known as Groyper War I, which would include Groypers going to mainstream conservative events, especially those of TPUSA and Charlie Kirk, hijacking said events by asking questions related to controversial topics such as Israeli relations.
What a racist question that was. So I got a quick and fun, lighthearted question for you, Charlie. So I know you gave a speech in Jerusalem earlier this year.
Yes, I did.
Were there any awesome, fun dance parties that you guys had afterwards? Because I heard that Israelis are some of the best dancers in the world. If you guys don't believe me, just Google dancing Israelis. It's insane how good their dance moves are. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Israel's a beautiful country, a great country too.
It is. They're our greatest ally.
Correct. Thanks for being here tonight.
It is crucial to recognize that despite growing a relatively small fan base at this time, Fuentes had not just created a fan base, but instead an organization of young men who were ready to throw their lives away for the message that Fuentes pushed. Fuentes would continue to grow at a consistent rate up until 2020 to 2021. These were the years in which he was banned from every single major platform. Although this mass deplatforming would halt his progress in the short term, it would only serve to further legitimize his voice in the coming years of his rapid expansion. As a result of his mass deplatforming, Fuentes, along with Alex Jones, would create Cozy TV, a site where Fuentes would continue to host his show for years to come. Along with this, Fuentes would also begin streaming on Rumble, an alternative free speech media site, which would allow for Fuentes' rhetoric. Although Fuentes would see moderate success during this time period, it would be nothing compared to the current waves he is currently making. In 2022, something major would happen. Ye, in his attempt for a presidential bid, would create a friendship with Fuentes. This friendship skyrocketed Fuentes' popularity to the extent where he had dinner with Trump along with Ye at Mar-a-Lago. Although the Trump administration would condemn the speech which Fuentes consistently promoted on his show, this would still serve to be a massive boost to the overall popularity of Fuentes' name. Another crucial event which would mark the rise of Fuentes was Musk's purchase of Twitter. Musk would promise Twitter to become a free speech platform, and in doing so, he made the decision to reinstate Fuentes. This was the first time Fuentes' voice was allowed into the mainstream for years. It was the first time in which people who didn't already know his name were given the chance to discover him. It would also be this event which marked the complete change towards free speech that was seen all across social media. We'd see sites like Instagram, along with TikTok, begin allowing for Fuentes clips to go viral on their sites. This virality would allow for Fuentes to grow his platform even more, to levels which he had never seen before. It would be this which marked the start of Fuentes' generational run. Fuentes was allowed to speak freely across social media for the first time in half a decade, and the people loved his message. This would result in him skyrocketing all across the internet, becoming officially a major conservative mainstream voice. This was the first time that an alternative guy like Fuentes, an extremist, would reach popularity to the millions. We've covered how Nick Fuentes was able to skyrocket into popularity, but that still leaves the question, why was this seemingly far-right individual able to capture the hearts of millions? In 2016, Trump proved that the people wanted an alternative to mainstream politics. Although he would fail to live up to this potential and this promise, the flame had already been lit. When Nick came onto the scene, he offered something that wasn't available in anybody else. He spoke unapologetically without fear. He stood on a strong America First platform, and most importantly, he did not speak for the disaffected white man. He was one of the disaffected white men. Whether you like it or not, millions of young men can relate to Nick. Men who feel disadvantaged by the system, men who feel isolated, men who are afraid of being replaced, men who are tired of the constant bashing of both their religion and their history, who feel that they may never be able to find a good Christian marriage, who feel as though the system has failed them. Nick did not reach his popularity purely because of his articulation or his political breakdowns. More importantly, Nick reached the position that he is in now because of how many young men feel exactly like he does. There is an entire generation of young men who feel as though they have no voice. And when nobody was willing to stand up for them, Nick Fuentes was the only one who stood up with courage and bravery and was willing to speak for the young men of his generation.
You want to talk about me and them? I am them. He says Nick Fuentes is leading all of the disaffected young white men. I am a disaffected young white man. He's lonely. He's weird. He lives in a basement. What is wrong with being weird? What is wrong with living in your basement? Who's the poser? Who is America? I am America. Chicago is America. That's an American story.